That's how bad I'm.
We're back. Just give it just a couple minutes. Try to remember where he's at.
I'm trying.
It's about letting it out.
No,
No, it's okay to do that.
it's cool.
I will take that off. Since we're done here, we're no more limits.
You can limit yourself, bud.
So back up. That's the old one.
Yeah. There it is. Come on, man. Now we're back, I think. Jason hit his limit. We're going to do a part 2 now. We'll wait for some people to get on real quick. Anyway, hi Jennifer Churchill. You want to talk about some fun people? Daniel and Jennifer.
Yeah, we had him over for a church camp. Did music one year.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and go back into it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So
Jump back into a heavy
I
moment.
think we were in a real heavy moment.
Real heavy moment. And then
It's all right though. Maybe it's good. So grieving, like letting it out. It's one of those things. Is like as believers, some believers would be like, "Oh, you shouldn't be upset at all," and blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know exactly why people would say that. But on the other hand, like I don't believe that we're supposed to just sit down and give up and because we do have a hope in Jesus. And I think this is the part, like, you know, I saw the videos of your son that you posted,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, I wept at my home. Like, I was like, man, he's a good kid. I didn't know him that well. I'd seen him at church a few times and stuff like that, but the videos showed, like, a whole other his personality, right? And so, like, I'm like, yeah, so young, and, you know, Alexis was only 19, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But at the same time, both our kids were saved, and that made me understand the heaviness of believers need to, like what we were talking about before, is making sure your kids know what's up, because you don't know what's going to happen. And you know, my son was in the car when this happened, when Alexis wrecked. All he had was a little bit of a sore neck and maybe a couple of scratches. It didn't, like, so ours was a little bit different. Yours was drawn over a long time. That'd be hard. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, the suffering was the hard part.
Yeah, that'd be the hard part, man.
Still holding to the hope that any day now the Lord's going to heal him and he's going to get up out of this bed and we're going to go home.
Yeah.
And then not understanding it. I mean, I combed through 2,800 pages of medical notes trying to find blame. Yeah. You know, what did they do? What did they give him that was wrong, or what happened? And I mean, some people told me I came back to church too quick, and I said I had to. It was 3 weeks, and we were asking the same questions every day. Sarah and I were, and it just, I couldn't do it anymore. I can't stay here and just keep rehashing it over and over. It's not changing anything. I need to go back to trying to heal, helping people, and let the church help me. And I came back. Do I still preach from there? Yeah, I just did it Sunday. That I'm still processing. I'm still lamenting. I talk so much about that on Sunday that it's okay to cry out. My favorite verse for the last 2 years now has been John 11:35. Jesus wept. Mm-hmm. Because that in that moment, he showed, I know what it's like to hurt. I know what it's like to hurt when you lose somebody close to you. I feel this. So it's okay to let things out. So he can take it. It's okay to yell at God.
It's okay to ask why.
Yeah, he's a big God. But also in that, I was telling Jason this before we came on, that cry out to him, appeal to him, tell him, you know, what you're dealing with, what you're struggling with, to help you. A lot of times we want to gripe and complain to God, but we don't want to ask for help after that.
Yeah.
And then also with that, you trust him, that he hears you, that he's going to supply what you need, that He's going to be there. And He's going to give you the peace you need. So it is. I mean, I think I don't know if grieving ever stops. It hasn't so far.
I don't think it does. I just think it changes.
Yeah,
It does change.
I think it I hate to even use the word, but it evolves a little bit.
yeah,
You know, I'm going on. The first year was. You have all the firsts.
yeah. You got to get through and go through.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the hardest part of grieving is like all the firsts,
Mm-hmm.
and then the second year it's all the seconds. But
Yeah.
but then like this is my third, and like one thing I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird.
You are, but I am too.
weird. It's like
You are weird.
I don't go to the graveside that much.
Yeah.
Just
I've
because
only been
my
down- I think I've been down 3 times.
yeah, my understanding of things is just in a different spot. Like for one, I don't want her looking down at me. like I'm like enjoy it. Like enjoy it. Know that like I'm here. Like it's cool that you know that I love you and all that stuff. But man, like I don't know about you. For me, my daughter was a drummer too, and I think about that. Like I think about like what kind of drums are you playing?
Right.
Like like what kind of drums are you playing? Because like it can't be just like regular drums.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's an artist too, so like I think about, and these are things I think they're good to think about. Is just like, is there different colors we don't even know about that they get to play with,
Right.
like in paint and all this stuff? I don't know,
Right.
but that's the only thing I like.
That's what they're getting experience.
And
what that's like.
and so yeah, we hurt.
Yeah.
We miss them.
Yeah.
We was on the way to Mount Vernon today. We went over to the aquatic zoo, and I think it was a song, like just a word in a song. And we just came through Father's Day, and I lost my dad 30-some years ago, 30 years ago or so. But it was just like, he was just really heavy.
Yeah.
He was just like, and I looked at Kim, I said, my dad would have really liked you.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, because I don't remember what it was. I don't know if it was a conversation or what, but it brought me back to where my dad he was an alcoholic real bad, but he would come from Mount Airy and he'd drive all the way to Fairfield just so I could drive him home.
Yeah.
And then I got thinking about that Dad would have really liked you, Kim. And so it doesn't ever really go away.
And there's triggers sometimes, but sometimes there's not. I mean,
Such
it just
smells.
hits you.
Sometimes it does hit you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, I mean, we're probably in a different situation than a lot of people, but you can probably take the time during the day to kind of to have that since you're at the church,
Yeah.
Luckily, I have a best friend that like he understands certain things and sit around and hang out instead of doing what we need to do, honestly. But
Yeah.
and those times have gotten less and less, but like, yeah, man. And I think in the position, here's the thing. I think I've told you this some, and you've already confirmed it, is people are watching your family and how you walk this out.
Yeah.
And you're walking it out well.
Yeah.
And I think that encourages people. And I think it shows Jesus. I think it shows hope. And to understand that you have an understanding. You're not just
Right.
talking. So
Yeah. Same to you. and we do this. I thought about that a lot early on. Like, no matter what I'm feeling on the inside, I want people to know that you can make it.
Yeah.
You can make it through whatever's going on. You can still lift your hands in praise to the Lord. You can still pray to Him. You can still believe. All of that.
Thankful.
Yeah, all of it. You can still do it
Mm-hmm.
in spite of devastation in your life, in spite of the tragedies. You can still serve the Lord. So that was in the back of my mind. I still want to lead well, even though I'm a complete mess. I want to lead well for you guys.
It's awesome, dude.
Amen.
And I'm glad you guys are doing. I'm glad you didn't step down. I'm glad that you're still doing what you're doing, because like I said, I know for me, you may not know it, but for me, it was one of those encouraging things that I'm not alone. I'm not alone, because I felt alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're not like, we don't go and hang out all the time, but like I can see it on you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and so like I'm just like he's going through the same thing, and and he's still doing it. So like, it's not by myself, man. Like, it's good.
Yeah.
It's a different, and you know what? I'm not trying to isolate. Losing people.
Yeah, it's hard.
In general,
no matter what.
It sucks, right? It's just losing a kid sucks, man. Like, it just does.
It does. And you'd do anything to take their place, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Thought that the whole time he was in the hospital, like, just let me change places somehow, some way. So, and again, I can't reiterate how much we appreciate everybody praying and people reaching out to us. It was overwhelming. The people, I mean, you don't realize how big God's kingdom is sometimes until you're walking through, well, I'll just say some hell on earth a little bit.
Yeah.
It's probably, it pales in comparison, I'm sure, but you just don't realize how many people have your back and are praying for you and your family in those moments. So it really meant a lot to us. It still means a lot to us today.
But that's I appreciate you sharing that with you. I know it's a pretty personal thing.
No problem. That's
And,
part of my story. So, and I'm not.
Can't be silent about it.
No, I can't.
No.
I don't want to be quiet about it. He was a great kid. I'll still share his memory. I still share it on Facebook. I try not to overwhelm people, but it's my Facebook, and
Well,
I'm going to show goofy videos of my boy dancing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It helps me cope and helps me heal and keeps his memory alive.
man, yeah. Who was it? I had a kid that's friend. He's from. Let's keep. But he made an album. He wrote a whole album. This kid's cool, but he wrote all his own music. Wrote his own songs. He's a friend of Alexis's. He sent me the link to the album I think he had on YouTube. And he goes, I hope it's okay, but I used her laugh in one of the tracks.
Wow.
You can hear it in the background.
Oh, that's so cool.
And dude, I've listened and you can just hear it right at the end. And I'm like, I didn't cry.
No,
I was
but-
just like, oh, we don't know what our kids do.
Yeah.
Like, we just don't. And
Yeah.
like, even though you think you do, and I'm sure that your boy talked to people about Jesus all the time. From what I can tell, that boy loved Jesus.
Yeah.
And so I mean, like, you just don't know the impact. I'm still getting stories like 3 years later of like things that she did, and I'm like,
Right.
I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of my favorite things, I'm not trying to make this about this Alexis, but when at the funeral, there's a girl that got up and she said, I had a Bible question one time. So I called Alexis up and she was telling me about this, and this. And I said, you sound like your dad. She goes, I know more about this than my dad does. And then it's like, and then the girl that's put the mic on walked off. I said, she just dropped the mic on me and she's not even here. But, you know, you just don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I think, I just see that your boy's life is meaning something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
It's still producing to you.
it's still
Yeah.
producing.
Them,
Yeah.
them videos and that stuff that you post is them are you posting for a purpose,
Yeah.
mainly for you, but
Yeah.
man, it helps other people.
Yeah. Then I got it, like I said, his sister next door
Yeah.
here, and just
Yeah,
helping her through it, and she's kind of more reserved, private, and keeps things to herself. So I'm sure it'll hit her in a little different way sometime. But great kid as well, and she does ministry with me, whether she's doing it or not. She's in
there.
hospitals, she's in funeral homes,
yeah.
and
She don't
Wants
want
to be my dad.
She wants to be my dad.
yeah. So I enjoy it.
Supposed to be.
I thought that would change as she got older, but
You're lucky.
hopefully I'm not prom dress shopping
bl-
in here. And
You're blessed, bro. To be, yeah, I mean, really, you're blessed. Because, like, mine just don't. They, like, I'm gone. See you
Yeah.
guys.
I'm gone.
well, she
Once
gets
they
her
got
license in January, so we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see how attached she is to me.
You're right.
But,
So,
Change
We
topics
already,
here.
we already did his. We already did his favorite scripture right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is Jesus
Yeah.
wept.
Yeah. We haven't talked about. This is way off topic.
We need to change the topic.
But-
It's like
but
I'm
like-
having a hard time.
So
keeping
we
it.
asked Leland. We a lot of times when we didn't ask.
We've asked a lot of
Josh
people.
and Becky, but we we asked Leland, who's your favorite person in the Bible
Besides Jesus,
besides Jesus, and he said, Barabbas.
is who he identified with.
Yeah,
And the
he
whole,
was set free.
Yeah.
which was a good answer.
It was.
And no one
Yeah,
expects
we
that
was
answer.
not expecting that one.
I think everybody started crying.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. So do you is there somebody that in the scriptures that you really?
Gosh, I can probably relate more now to David and Job and
Oh,
with things,
yeah.
and I didn't have it near. I don't have it near as bad as Job, but you know, I don't know. The Psalms hit different now as he's crying out, and I feel that with everything in me. But I also like how he finishes a lot of them of still trusting in God. I
Yeah.
still trust you. I
So
still
that's-
believe you. I still know you're going to rescue me from this, and that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I mean, that's who I would
That's so cool.
relate to right now. So highs, lows, all of it. And he was good about letting his feelings out. I grew up, if you've dealt with depression, anxiety, you don't talk to people.
right. That's
You
how
keep
we-
it in. And I changed when I surrendered to Christ and let all that go. I mean, a lot of people know me now as a goofball, funny, just cut up, stuff like that. But that wasn't me. I mean, it was before, but it was all fake. It was my way of coping.
Right.
Now it's me,
Yeah.
truly me.
Yeah.
And it's because of the joy of the Lord being my strength in my life now.
Yeah.
So,
Amen.
The Psalms.
They're good.
Psalm, you know, Psalm 23, the thing that we've always I've preached on a couple times, but it hit a lot different after all that.
walk through
Just
the valley of the
shadow of death. But my favorite part now, the thing I understood so much more, actually cling to, is the part where he's like, you set my table in front of my enemies, and I was like, because I took a hold of that, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna eat and you're gonna watch. Like, I'm not faltering.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat my dinner,
Yeah,
the stuff that God's provided me, and you all have to watch.
yeah. We'll keep
And,
on.
You know,
Yeah.
I've been studying that a little bit.
Mhm.
That psalm. I think it's in the sermon I didn't preach last weekend.
Okay.
And he makes me lie down in green pastures.
Mm-hmm.
He makes me.
Yep.
Like, you're going to take a break.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're gonna feel my rod.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he leads you by still waters where you can, all kinds of good things happen in still waters. You
Yeah.
can see a reflection of who you are and see God in you and all kinds of symbolism there. But that hit me pretty hard the other day. It's like, man, he makes me.
Yeah.
He makes
makes
me.
One way or another.
One way or
Yeah.
another, you're gonna chill out, man.
Yeah.
Chill out.
Chill, bro.
Be still. Know that I'm the Lord.
Yes.
Which is his way of saying, "Shut up, be quiet, let me be."
That'll do.
That'll do, son.
Yeah.
How's church going for you guys?
It's going
Let me
pretty
flip
good.
the
Pretty
tables here a
good.
little bit.
Oh, he's gonna start interviewing us.
Going well?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Good.
crowd is down a little bit, but it's
Summer.
always
Yeah.
always down a little bit this
I
time of
think
year.
every church takes a little bit of.
We see such good things happening with people still, and Todd Ray,
Oh yeah,
he's getting ready to graduate
Yeah.
addiction
out of
solution.
Addiction Solutions.
Awesome.
He's going to give us a little short testimony Sunday night at the
Good
fair,
deal.
and so that's that kind of
That's
thing.
what we gotta do Sunday night. Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
and yeah, it's just going well. I feel like.
I love how you guys worship just raw and in your face. I love it.
Yeah.
You don't care.
We just don't care.
No.
Man, like, I've been part of a lot of churches, like every kind, all kinds,
Yeah.
right? And I just got to the point where I just don't care anymore. Like, I don't care about your rules. I don't care
Yeah.
about. I care about God's rules, and that's all I care about.
Yeah,
Like,
we just want to do what what Jesus says,
Yeah.
to go into the world, make disciples, and teach them to make disciples, and to worship and to live our life just like you preach.
Mhm.
Like when we leave this place, you're going to be around people that don't know Jesus,
Yeah.
and it's our responsibility to share Jesus with them as Christ ambassadors.
Yeah.
And I say it a lot, kind of that kind of thing, and I use Romans 12:2 a lot, and be transformed into a new person by changing the way you think.
Mhm.
It's like we got to change the way we think,
Mhm.
and we're not called in here to be pew warmers.
Yeah.
We are here to get fed and fellowship and worship God together and get encouraged in the Word and have some fellowship, and then go out into
Then
the
go
world.
take some ground.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, like, you. I just lost my thought. See, I am so bad lately, dude.
That's part of getting older too.
I'm not.
You are getting older.
Maybe. I'm just
Hey,
getting gray
this-
hair.
On a totally off the subject note, I didn't wear my mesh hat tonight.
Thank you.
Yes, Taco don't like my mesh hat.
The see-through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just doesn't.
he don't like it.
I don't like it.
So
Well,
It's because when I look over here at the screen, I can see her. It just looks funny, dude.
it's funny how people like to tell us what they don't like sometimes.
yeah,
You ever get that in the church?
all time.
Let me tell you a funny story.
Here we go.
This one's pretty recent.
Okay,
So, I'm not saying any names.
all right.
It's all
But
good,
a while back, I preached, and I felt like God dropped a couple older songs into me to share with the crowd. One was Amazing Grace,
Yeah.
powerful. We had people in the crowd singing the verses one at a time. And then the next week, I went back to Carl and was like, hey, you know that old song, He Touched Me, Oh, He Touched Me, and Oh, the Joy that Flooded My... I said, I need another one. I need that one for the next week. He goes, okay. And it went really well. And Sunday, somebody comes up to me in the church, and he said, hey, Pastor, I meant to tell you, you remember a while back we did those couple older songs, and the Spirit of God really fell stronger that day. I said, I disagree. I said, the Spirit of God falls in here every time we're together. You just don't choose to participate all the time.
Oh man. Yeah.
And I said,
That's just toe stomper.
well, I've been a little more direct since Jackson died too, to things that don't matter in the kingdom mindset of winning people to Jesus.
Yeah, come on, man.
So I said it's not about, and we all have preferences, we do on things, but it's not about preference. It's about His presence.
we talk about that all the time too.
It's His presence,
It's like, guys,
and
if you don't like to worship tonight, it's not about you.
it's not.
It's,
And just for people to understand that, it's not about your preferences. It's all about His presence. It's not. This isn't Old Testament where we have one priest that has to bring sacrifice.
Mm.
It's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
It's Jesus died. He gave us access to God now and His presence. We have that, and it doesn't matter.
what song we sing?
No,
It doesn't matter if I'm.
It doesn't
not
matter if
key or
there's
not.
music going. It's right here.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's it.
that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
You know, like I've tried. Like you'll hear.
Maybe that's why there's so many churches. You can find what you like.
Yeah. You can sit
Yeah.
comfortable. I know at one time I thought I was gonna be like, I'm gonna go to this church because I can just chill. I'm done participating. I'll still talk to people about Jesus, but I'm done with the church stuff.
Yeah.
And then Jason called me.
Yeah, about the same time. Yeah,
Almost like 2 weeks later, I think it was.
I don't.
But
I mean,
it's just-
ministry's tough. I mean, it is.
It
And
is.
I'll when people come to me, and this may sound bad, if they say they feel like they want to get into ministry, I said, you better be sure.
yeah.
You
Well,
better be sure.
you better
that
be
God
in
is
God's
calling.
will.
Yeah.
So like, isn't the I can't remember the statistic about pastors quitting a month.
Oh, it's
bad.
high. It's high.
I always go back to what John MacArthur said. Like, one of the things I remember, like, huge. He's like, the reason why so many ministers fall away from ministry is because they did it because it was a good idea, not because they were called.
yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah. I was going to say, you better make sure you're called because
yeah,
There was one good thing he said.
there are crushing times.
stop, dude.
there are crushing times.
Well, I'm not big anyway.
Yeah.
I just know I remember
He
hearing
did.
that and thinking, man, that's one of the best words of wisdom I think I've ever heard.
Yeah, and I tell people that. I said, you better make sure you're called because this is not easy at all.
And it's
It's not about a platform. It's not about any of that. You better be called to do this.
I think I'm 95%. I think we are, because I think we both kind of fall in this, but I don't believe in necessarily burnout if you're in God's will.
Yeah.
I believe getting tired,
Right.
but not burnout.
But the Lord is our strength for
Right.
those who wait upon the Lord.
But
right?
what I look at is if you're in His will, He will give you the strength to keep doing what you're
Yep.
doing.
And the
Amen.
wisdom
If you're trying to be in, if you're trying to be in,
rest.
yes, if you're trying to be in your own self,
Yeah.
like He doesn't bless that, man. Like
Yep.
you keep trying to do it and do it and do it and do it and do it, and He's like, I told you, no,
Right.
Yeah.
stop.
But go ahead.
And it's
Go ahead
hard
and go
for
to that motorcycle
it's hard
ministry.
for pastors. I think a person with a servant's heart, sometimes it's hard for them to say no.
Right.
And I think that you get so into different things, and when God's like, I want you right here, well, they don't have this over here, so I need to help them. Okay, but no,
Right.
that ain't for you. But they really need me. I'm like, and He's like, no.
Well, here's what happens too when you're called to do something, but then you try to do all these other things.
Mm-hmm.
You start spreading yourself thin, and the one thing you were called to do is suffering because you're trying to do so many other things as well. It just doesn't work out. That's in the church. It's in the secular world. All of that. You got to learn when it's too much.
Prioritization.
Yeah, what's too much, and that's okay. It's healthy for your ministry not to. If you can't do your one thing well because you're doing all these other things, the one thing you were called to do is going to start suffering.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm probably one of the.
and I'm saying when
Probably
I don't
one
like
of
to
those
tell
who-
people no, I want to help.
Yeah.
And
I'm probably one of the worst ones on that too. But I think I finally have gotten to where, like, I've prioritized
I think
where I'm
too,
supposed to.
Yeah, I think too is empowering the people around you.
Yeah. We
More
talk a
of
lot
the
about
scent,
that, too.
We
the
need
scent thing.
delegate.
Like we need your help,
Yep.
and empowering them to do that, training them up, and say, hey, I need this over here. Can
I
you
think
handle this for me?
discipleship has become very. Needs to be focused on more.
That's one of the things we were lacking in, and I'd heard about it for 4 years, but we didn't do anything about it. So we've got, and it's not. I'm not saying it's the best, it's the end all be all, but we've got right then, I've got a team of 25 to 30 that I can call on when somebody believes on Jesus and is saved that morning. They have a discipleship accountability partner before they leave. I'll call it out from the stage. Give me one of my people. This is your person, and then they're going through a book called The First Mile, which lays a foundation for the decision they just made to start building on.
Who's that by?
And they also know
Yeah, send us a link to that.
I can do that. And it's a couple of hunters, I believe, is who wrote it. But they also know I have somebody in my corner right away that I can talk to every single day if I need to with any kind of question I have.
Mm,
So
that might be
pretty
something
good.
to think about.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Actually, we're using one of your guys' old books now.
Yeah, the journey.
Yep.
You remember I
Yep.
came and got them from
Yep.
you? And they've enjoyed it. We're almost done. It's taken a long time, but
it's okay.
it's okay.
There's no.
And
Some
so
people take a little bit
we're
longer. Some
we're
catch on.
we're about done, so we need another book to go through. They don't want to stop. So
That book that I was telling you about,
Mhm.
I showed you. I don't know that it's more of an individual. It's got
Okay.
some group stuff in the back,
okay,
but the reading is.
I'd like to do something. They really like the workbook.
Yeah.
They really like being able to like.
This is set up as like a 4-week thing, but there's homework they have to do,
Got you.
and then they come together and talk about it. But the cool thing is, once this person goes through this, they're ready to help somebody else do these first
Yeah,
steps
and
as
that's-
well.
that's-
Right out residual thing like disciples making disciples to making disciples.
What?
What?
What? Where did you
I know.
Where did you come
Boom.
up with that?
That is a silly thing.
Discipleship.
Discipleship.
Make
Yeah.
disciples.
So it's just they can turn around. I have one of those going on right now. It's beautiful to watch
You
people
know-
disciple people and empower them. So
I'm so happy you're a pastor. I just am, man. Like for real. Because like I don't know, And I'm glad you're in our circle of acquaintance and brotherly
Yeah.
love, because like
Yeah, we don't get together.
We
often.
don't-
Well,
No,
and what the
It's
cool
always
thing,
good.
even though we can't and we don't, we can still talk like we've been hanging around
Yeah,
with
yeah.
yeah, we've
brothers
had a
in Christ,
conversation.
and it's like we just picked right back up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's because you got the same
heart
same
and
goal.
mentality.
The same goal
and-
is Jesus,
yeah,
right?
yes.
Jesus and making him known.
Jesus,
Yep.
Jesus. And we're having a pretty. I think the next few weeks we have a lot of. You got some other pastors coming on, don't you?
Yeah, Ron Clausen from, I think it's the Lighthouse in Flora.
Yeah,
He's going to come on.
cool.
See, Lighthouse or Strong Tower Church?
Strong Tower.
See,
Mm,
we
mm.
need him on this show
Yeah.
more. We could go 4.
Yeah, yeah. So I got a whole list.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's.
That's
I
awesome.
think we're scheduled out for about 5 weeks now.
We're into
Uh,
September.
Craig
Craig
Scott's
Scott,
gonna
yeah,
come
next
on.
week I think.
Yeah. So
Good.
it's trying to. We had Josh on last week, so
Yeah.
we kind of have a row of pastors coming on this month.
Just doing what we just another way to get the church together,
Absolutely.
even if it's just online, and making it real. Life is real,
Yeah.
and we all have issues, and we all have a testimony, and we all have something to share.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And we,
We all have different experiences.
yeah,
You know, like
Ed,
Yeah,
Ed
unity.
Foley's coming on pretty soon too.
good job, Jennifer. Oh yeah, Ed Foley.
Yeah.
There's another pastor. So like, I think we're having a run right
Yeah.
now, but
We're getting a little bit more. Like a lot of times we were like, "Who's coming on tomorrow?
yeah, we.
Who's coming on the show tonight? I don't know."
Well, I had Ace come on that one time at the last minute.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
felt kind of bad, but
Well,
I think it went good.
Yeah,
Appreciate you guys
It did.
letting me come on and
Yeah,
be
man.
a part of this.
We are very thankful that you came and sat down and talked with us and encouraged us and folks online.
Do you have
Yeah.
anything else before we ask the?
I don't think so.
So
So
now you get to put it on the spot.
the hot
Be
seat.
ready in season and out of season.
Yes, sir. We always end with if there's something you could say to someone that was lost and they never maybe made the decision to follow Jesus, or even someone that's struggling with their faith.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe
Backs-
gotten offended at God,
Yeah.
something along that line.
And just talk to
Talk
the
to
people.
those.
Any of those things, huh?
Anything you want to do, man.
Well, I'll jump on the one that I've just recently God's given me. As I see you, I think a lot of people just need to be noticed. They're fighting a lot of things alone, and as believers coming across somebody, make sure they know, I'm here, and listen. Man, that's a skill that has went by the wayside, because a lot of us want to talk without ever hearing what's going on. So listening. Let them know I'm here to listen. Share whatever it is. It don't matter what it is. It don't matter how bad it is. I'm here to listen. And then as we listen, responding to that and bringing the love of Christ into that and letting them know God sees you too. He understands what you're dealing with. He understands what you're struggling with, and He loves you. I love you. And a lot of people are like, how you love me? Well, because He first loved us. So that in turn means that I can love you without even knowing you, because I've got God's heart inside of me, and that's what He's about.
Yeah.
And sharing that with people, again, a lot of people just want to be seen in the middle of what they're dealing with, and they want to be heard. And if you'll take the time to do that, that starts that relationship. You can find some common ground on something, and then just start helping them. And like we said earlier, eventually you're going to have an opportunity, because they see that you're actually caring about them and wanting to be a part of what they're dealing with in their life, that you're going to have an opportunity to share Jesus, to share the gospel, and let them make a decision on that. I've been where you are. I've struggled. I've hurt. I've been in pain. I didn't think I could get up again. But Jesus, but God, changed things for me. He empowers me and strengthens me every single day. And make that connection, like hey, he did it for me. He can do it for you. So you're loved.
Yes.
You're loved. You're loved. You're loved
You
by
are
the
loved.
God of the universe.
Amen.
Word.
Word. Thanks, Rick, for coming on.
Thank you.
Yep.
Again,
Appreciate
appreciate you guys.
Right on.
You all right? Where you going? Why you going? What are you doing?